I hope all is okay. I'm here with my colleagues, Tal. She will be a little bit on the backstage soon, and Gregor from Tel Aviv. How are you? How are you, Gregor?
Awesome. How about you?
All good. Just waiting, to start. I see already a lot of people connected. So we will start very in a few seconds. Just before to start, let me share with you a couple of things. So I hope you're gonna join. Firstly, so this is gonna be an interesting, not that long. I'm trying not to be boring, but of course, at the end of this webinar, if you want to explore and get further, in a more detailed way, how we can help in segmenting your distribution, feel free to reach out to me or to Gregor, or in general, we will share anyway any mail contact details later. During the webinar, if you have questions, feel free to use the chat. We'll try to cover and reply if possible during lifetime, or in case we will follow up with you individually. Okay. So Tal will help us to coordinate the chat and support any question during the webinar. All right. So at this point, I'm going to share my screen so we can start to get into the topic. Let's make a little try. Do you see my screen, guys? It's all confirmed. Can you hear correctly? Well, LinkedIn. So can you confirm through the chat that everything is clear and the audio is good, the video is good? I mean, we are not a beautiful people here, but at least the screen can be clean and fun. All right. So I see all confirmed by. Okay. Fantastic. All right. So basically, today the topic is unlocking revenue with smart segmentation. Nothing scientific, nothing too complicated, but of course, this is going to be part of of your revenue management strategy. In particular, we try to dive deep into the distribution side of the revenue, where segmentation is going to be more and more crucial. I'll try to share, some interesting angle, some simple, and then Gregor will help us later on to see how you can actually make an incredible and smart way to segment your distribution across HyperGuest platform. Okay, so basically, in hospitality, distribution segmentation refer to the process of diving the market into smaller, more meaningful, analyzable segment based on different criteria. This is much easier. It's a way to regroup. Your business is smaller groups in order to have the possibility to have a deeper analysis, and trying to understand how you can improve your revenue overall strategy. At the end of the day, the objective is the same. You have maximizing revenue opportunity and reducing customer cost or acquisition cost. Let's move to the pool. Tal, if you can share with us a pool just to get to know each other. I will need to understand the profile of the guest. Are we launching the pool? Yeah, it's going.
Yeah. People are starting to answer. Let's wait for a few more replies. The leaders are revenue management so far. Then we have sales, operations, and other. Maybe you can write us in the chat the other category. What are you currently working
Yeah, this will help us
in
also
your
to
hotel?
understand the type of audience we have for this live, and later, if we want to have some one-to-one call with some of you.
Okay, let's publish the results. Do you see it?
I don't honestly see the. Probably
Okay.
wasn't part of the organization, that's why. But anyway, so let me
So we
see.
have 46% revenue management, then second with 26% sales, and these are the leaders. Almost 20% others, so it's very interesting to see who are the others.
All right, so you go back to my screen, right? You see my slide. Can you confirm?
Yes.
Okay, so as I mentioned, basically segmentation, you may have different reason of making segmentation, but basically, in general, the objective are two. One is increasing your business, improving the way you can make profit across each segment, and secondly, of course, trying to understand how to reduce the cost of distribution, the customer acquisition cost. Now, let's look at some simple, okay? So this is one example. This is probably one of the most common way to make segmentation. This is, I will define this as a category by channel. So you have, this is relevant really in the last few years, is becoming more and more important. So direct bookings, direct brand.com. Then you have OTAs, GDS, and B2B, which is regrouping different players, might be tour operator, travel agency, wholesaler, and so on. But of course, again, don't take this as a official category. It's just to give an example on how you can differentiate your segmentation by channels. This is again probably the most common approach, and the primary objective of making this is ensuring the right inventory balance and profitability. How you are distributing across those channels, across those segments, it will give you also the possibility to understand if you are selling too many products across the same segment, which probably might be also the most expensive channel, right? Then you have other type of segmentation. For example, I define this as a guest reason of travel. You may have transient type of business, groups, repeating customer, which are also part of a specific loyalty program if you are part of a group, corporate business, and so on. And this is again more to provide, a better customer experience. If you are coming for leisure or for business, of course, you have a totally two different way to stay in the hotel, and probably on the other side, the way you are welcoming those customers is going to be a little bit slightly different, just to provide a much more customized experience from that standpoint of view. Then you have some other example, for example, by guest profile, and this might be related to nationality, or if it's a couple joining your hotel, it's a friends, so they want to have a multiple type of rooms, a family. And this is again, one hand is again to provide better customer experience, but also to have a better room assignment. So when you are talking to your room inventory, look at your room inventory. Of course, when you have to assign a room, this also depending on the type of the guest profile. If it's a family, again, you need a large room or two double room communicating each other, or the other way around. So if it's a business type of customer, you may provide them some sort of space in the room with desk and some, elements that helps those people, professionally speaking, to work and operate from the room. For example, a printer, a much more stronger connectivity, and so on. Then this is the one I prefer. This is I will say this is more by booking patterns, and actually this might be not only a specific segmentation but a sub-segmentation, because anyway, when it comes to the moment of adopting, pricing, dynamic pricing strategy, and is necessary when you analyzing a specific segment, whatever the segment I was showing as a sample, you can then go further and try to understand how this particular segment is performing in terms of occupancy during high and low season. If this is a type of segment that is producing the most during weekends or during weekdays, and this will help you also um, to adapt your pricing strategy in a much more flexible and efficient way. And in general, this type of further segmentation is helping to improve yield and maximize revenue opportunity. Then you have one, and I was mentioned before, this is one of the I would say latest trend in the last few years. We have been talking a lot about direct booking, how relevant it's going to be, and important it's going to be to nurture and grow this particular segment. But this is also something that hotels should be aware of and pay attention, because selling directly doesn't mean that this is cheaper, right? So actually, I've been analyzing several property, especially independent property. And when they go deeper into the analysis and cost of distribution related to direct booking, this might impact in a very important way. So if you take in consideration all the elements that contribute to the cost of distribution for this particular segment, you have, I don't know, factoring in tech stack, people dedicated and spend time for analyzing it and managing direct booking. Paid ads might be related to pay-per-click or meta search advertising, SEO, web design, so making photo, picture, all those creatives that we try to, add on the official website just to make it much more appealing. And so if you aggregate all those elements, in some cases, really in some cases, I've seen this cost of distribution, this particular segment, up to 40%. All right. So this is something that need to be really probably analyzed deeper than any other segments, just because, again, many hotels, when I speak with many hotels, they are so happy to have, much more direct booking. And then when we go deeper into the analysis and cost of distribution, this it's resulting in a very expensive way to produce booking. And at some point, it doesn't make sense. If I can get a booking for a 20% commission from an OTA, why should I get the same booking from my official website at 40% cost, right? So this is a very important aspect to analyze. Yeah, so in general, nurturing that booking, it make great, different value from reducing cost of distribution, maximizing profit, building loyalty, brand recognition, and reduce dependency on intermediaries, of course. Let me try to share with you an example. I was playing a little bit with an Excel, and this is something that we can provide you. Okay. And again, this is a very basic example. You may create some sort of file like this with much more, elements, just to make sure that you are making the right analysis for each segment. So this is a scenario app. So I was thinking of an hotel of 100 rooms available. So potentially it's an hotel that can sell up to 36,500 room nights. The effective occupancy was 80%. So the number of room nights sold was 29,000 plus. I have just identified those macro segments, so direct brand, so OTA, GDS, and B2B. And I highlight here traditional type of B2B. So let's assume that the number of room nights sold are divided and shared by this type of percentage. So 25% of those rooms were sold to direct booking, 45% through OTA, 10% from GDS, and 20% from B2B traditional. Okay, resulting in this number of room nights. Imagine that this is the average daily rate for each segment. This is the total revenue. And considering that this is going to be the average commission you pay across those segments, this is going to be the cost of distribution. This is a formula all calculated by the Excel. So the total distribution cost in this basic example, in this scenario, result in a quite important, amount. So now try to imagine a scenario B, where I I have actually highlighted this scenario where you have, of course, a big portion of your rooms sold across a specific segment, and where you have a specific, very high distribution cost with a specific segment, in this way, B2B traditional. Now, let's assume that in the scenario B, you want to try, without discussing how to improve the way pricing dynamically change, and probably you may get more opportunity by differentiating a little bit rate plan and changing price in a more dynamic way. I don't want to step into this topic. I just want to show you how through the way you can switch availability make some different result at the end of the year. So in this scenario represented before, now let's assume that you are now moving, of course, and you see in those green part where you have more benefit, less cost and more opportunity. So imagine that you are reducing, for example, from 45% of room inventory, and dedicate more across those two part of the distribution segment. So, for example, you decrease this to 30%, then you have 50% here, 10% more here and 50% more here. So at the end, you have always the same result. So it's going to be 10, 40, 50, 65. So let's put this at 35, 65, 75, and this is 25. Okay. So basically, by just changing the way you are balancing the inventory, because sometimes hotels are too much focusing on price, management of price and trying to change rates. But sometimes you just need to switch, your inventory management. Instead of price management, you have inventory management approach. But just changing the way you allocate inventory, at the end, the result might difference a lot. You see an important reduce of distribution cost here, because I'm using now, instead of B2B traditional, I'm approaching through HyperGuest dynamic and modern traditional modern contracting, where the cost of distribution is about 20%, and you have immediately an important cost of distribution reduce of an important amount. So again, by just playing with inventory management, by not touching pricing, with a little attention and details on the way you balance your distribution, sometimes you may have a much more impacting result at the end of the year. And again, this file is available. If you want, we can share it after the webinar. We go back to the slide. Why I wanted to have this particular topic today, because I'm also sharing some particular case study with one of the clients of HyperGuest. I'm talking about Jazz Hotel Group. And they were trying to make a specific campaign for a specific period of time for a specific segment, only internal, traveler, nationality traveler. So the specific campaign was related for Egyptians. We are talking about an hotel group of about 25 resorts in Egypt, and they wanted to, launch a specific promotion available and bookable only for internal travelers, so only for traveler with Egyptian nationality. So first they were trying to, offer this opportunity to different players. And you can imagine, if you knock the door of Expedia, Booking, Hotel Beds, and the other big players, of course, this is not possible. If you want to have your own campaign across different channel, that is something that cannot be customized only for your hotel group. And actually, this works in the other way around. When you ask those big players to participate in their program, this is something feasible. But if you want to have your own campaign, that won't be possible. So they came to us and they asked us to activate this particular promotion rate plan, discounted and accessible only for a traveler with Egyptian nationality, and so bookable only from demand partners connected to HyperGuest that were looking to book rooms for Egyptians nationality. So once we activated this promotion, which took really 24 hours to make it live, the impact was tremendous. So they launched this offer. 21 partners from our ecosystem booked those hotels. In particular, they were booked 29 properties across this group, and they had a 600% growth in this particular B2B distribution segment. So again, now when we talk about segmentation, you also need to understand how you can leverage each segment. There are some factors that you can manage and manipulate. For example, playing more on the inventory management and price. But if you want to make an outgoing promotion and give a strong boost, this is going to be hard for hotels to deploy. So this is my recommendation. When you, I know many of you are collaborating already with HyperGuest. It might be a really interesting way to get into contact with your account management of reference and trying to understand how you can repeat the same activity that Jazz Hotel did it with us recently. Well, that was actually a state of the Ratu Motihar, director of e-commerce distribution at Jazz Hotel Group, just to confirm that this actually time to market offer really work well, and now they are actually in contact with us to set up different promotion with specific segmentation and objective. Tal, we have another pool, right?
Yes, launching it now. So the question is, do you use segmentation in your revenue and distribution strategies? So
Let's
pool
see.
was launched and we start to get votes. For now, 90% yes.
That's amazing.
Growing. We will wait for a few more votes and then we'll stop the poll. Okay, so leading with 80% yes, we do use segmentation, then 15% no, and 7% I would like to try and know more. So please reach out to us. We can send you the recording and assist.
Well, I think this is a good opportunity, whatever you are doing it or not, because what I'm going to with Gregor explain you how you can do this through HyperGuest. Actually, you can do this further segmentation within the B2B, and that might be related to, I don't know, geo promotion, sub-channel category, guest nationality, and so on. I leave my screen to Gregor so you can show more about in detail.
Thank you very much, Enzo. It was amazing. I'm going to share my screen now. Perfect. So
You can hide the
most of
bar
you are
below.
yeah, most of you are already familiar with our system, but for the ones that aren't familiar as of now, on your side, to have access into this distribution model, it's called distribution, and then you have two models, the contracting and the marketplace. Today we are going to speak how to make a segmentation in the marketplace. Of course, you can do the same in the contracting model, but as you remember, the contracting model is one-on-one, two sides, the hotel and the demand partner, while the marketplace, it's the hotel in front of all our partners. So the first segmentation is basically we have different cost of acquisition per customer per different demand types. We have OTAs, we have wholesalers. Let's put these two players inside two main groups, meaning like B2C, more usual, recognized as Agoda, Expedia, Booking. And at the same time, we have wholesalers, B2B, heavy players like DMCs, tour operators, especially wholesalers. Let's call them like Hotelbeds, Webbeds, you know them better than us. Now, you already know you're giving different agent commission levels to each of those partners. And HyperGuest, we have an ecosystem with a variety of different partners, and we strongly encourage you as a first segmentation step to divide those two groups. It's not that we are offering your net rates to an end customer in the B2C environment. No, it's rather you have to imagine as if it's like B2B to C. But to keep it simple, we call it B2C, and you're basically offering one set of agent commission. You're offering your bar rates, your brutto rates, with the fixed commission value of 18%. Two players which are not wholesaler, DMCs or tour operator, is not one-off, meaning to all the rest, to the travel agency, OTAs, Concerta, and so on, you're offering your brutto rates was 18%. At the same time, we have created an additional term where you're offering now is one-off, only to B2B, to wholesalers, DMCs, tour operators, your brutto rates was a 20% agent commission. We at HyperGuest already took care for the right characterization of each demand partner. As soon as they're onboarding with us, we're saying, okay, you're going to operate as a wholesaler, DMC, tour operator, and so on. Nothing for you to take care of in that sense. You have here also a quick summary. It's always looking a little bit nicer, less information, really explains you what is happening with this action and conditions that you chose. Instead of looking here, you can look it up here. Now, Enzo also mentioned to us a subtype, dividing it into high season, low season. As you can see here, and I know many of you doing it also with different OTAs, and I believe also with your B2B players. You see here low season for B2C, for an example. Shows here the winter season for property, which is not much booked during winter. The property is giving 18% for OTAs during the low season, while during the high season, you can adjust it starting from the 1st of April next year until the end of the high season is going to be, instead of 18%, 16% for the B2C players. It's totally up to you, but basically you're getting the maximum out of your distribution strategy while implementing it into HyperGuest. If you already know from the get-go, as of now, that you're having different commission levels during different stages of the year, please get back to your account manager. He will be happy to support you in setting this up. If you still haven't touched it at all here in HyperGuest, in general, we will be happy to help you and support you in setting up your segmentation. Beneath it, we have different promotions. Now, promotions can be also be split into high season, low season, but let's keep it simple. If we're saying that currently we're having a day-wise weekdays promotion, here in the summary applies when we have weekdays, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You know, you are usually operating really strong and have almost full capacity during your weekends, but you need a little push during Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, especially during low season. You can add here always stay dates, but let's keep it simple. During those weekdays, the customer / agent, they will receive a 5% additional discount. Maybe you're using it on other channels. Maybe your other channels aren't able to offer it in the right way to the customer. Here at HyperGuest, you're able to do so. Please use the segmentation if you see that you're not getting enough volume performance of bookings. So implement it into HyperGuest. Especially, this also takes care of keeping you in parity on HyperGuest in comparison to your other vendors. We need those promotions. Otherwise, we will be in disparity and you won't be able to perform to your fullest potential. Now, based on the example of Jazz Hotel, a country offer, you want to push a specific market. We know now that in February, we have the Chinese New Year. Basically, we are now interested in pushing during the stay dates of the 1st of January until the end of the 31st of March, still the quote-unquote low season of the hotel. The booking date is from now until the 28th of February. Our system recognizes that a Chinese customer or the customer booking through the agent is Chinese. He would like, we are offering now a market promotion, a country offer only for Chinese residents, minus 10%. We are marking it here as a promotion. The property, you will receive it also in your voucher, also to the channel manager of the property. Again, if you look here, a lot of information. You can look it up here in the summary. It's really self-explanatory what have we applied here. So if we want to push a specific market, this is an option to go about. Group bookings. You know now that group bookings, you have a big cancellation ratio, for an example, and on group bookings, as you know, usually we can apply other cancellation policies as you're giving away a lot of rooms and you're taking a risk of them being flexible. So now you can say, if a number of 5 rooms is booked, we'll treat it as a group booking. You will say, for group bookings, I know that I have a group booking offer on some other vendors place. I also want to offer it via HyperGuest. This is a segment for the group bookings, while applying it with a cancellation policy of non-refundable, meaning that you're only operating usually with flexible rate, but as you're taking here risk of giving away 5 room availabilities, you're applying the cancellation policy of non-refundable, while still giving the partner a little bit intensive of an additional discount. If you're having a high cancellation ratio on your flexible rates, this might be a good way to go about it. Now, suite of a family push. Let's say that only for your rate plan codes, the non-refundable, you would like to offer a certain room type, which we are placing here, room code, the suite room, a bigger room, which during the low season is not as much occupied as in the high season. In the high season, you have a lot of families coming from abroad. And in the low season, you don't have enough families traction, like from tourism. It's more younger couples. Now, you can pick the suite room, pick stay date before the 31st of March. You will adjust the price specifically for the suite room by 20%, offering at the same time childs and infants as zero property currency. You can do different promotions. Of course, you can add to your conditions even more segmentation, like to what kind of demand partner would you offer it. But hey, we said let's keep it simple for now. So your account managers would be happy to support you in setting those up exactly as you would like. Having a look on the promotion early bird, there's always a good split. Like you need to take care of the next month or next 2 months ahead, and you already want to get to a certain capacity. Now you can offer through us different early promotions with an adjust price. Very simple promotion as you see here based on the breakdown. If you look here on this button, the ad, you will have here a variety of predefined promotions. You can only add like the free night offer, for an example. It's a 3-night, and you will offer the last night of it for free, for an example. This is also one of the promotions. But as you see, it's really simple, predefined promotion, and you can use it. On top of that, you can add, of course, your exclusions or exceptions for it. Now, one last thing that I would like to mention in regards of segmentation and customer acquisition cost. Let's say the property is segmenting it here for B2C as 10%, for B2B as 12%, while having open a third channel. The third channel, not related to HyperGuest, is getting the same rates as HyperGuest, but with an agent commission of 20%. Now, it's a good possibility that this third channel is going to leak your rates and causing disruption to your segmentation. And you will have here a partner offering, which is basically suffering from bad segmentation, as there's one source which is get too much discounts, too much promotion applied, and is leaking and damaging your whole other channels which have perfect implied segmentation. That's it from my end.
There is a lot of things to HyperGuest that can further make those segmentation, but especially again, at some point when you do those segmentation, at some point you need to understand how you can increase performance from each of those. And through HyperGuest, there is this such flexibility to create a campaign promotion discount with different level of commission, cancellation policies, specific room type, and so on, that give you the elasticity really to go so granular and really calculate profit in a very detailed way. Anyway, so we are almost at the end. I'll share back a screen. Yeah, this is just a summary. Again, this is the summary of all the type of segmentation sample I have shared with you in my previous slide. But yeah, so but basically, let's just keep in mind that doing segmentation, it's so relevant for you for different reasons: reducing cost of distribution, maximize profit per segment, enhance customer satisfaction, do a better forecasting and demand prediction, and target marketing and personalization. So that's all, guys. So thank you again. If you want to discover a little bit more about what Gregor was describing, just feel free to get in touch with us, am@hyperguest.com. We will share with you also slide, the Excel file I was using as a sample before. Eventually, the recording of this webinar, if you were not able to follow the entire version, the entire episode. And yeah, so we are actually planning more webinar in the coming months. Actually, I'm already preparing the slide for the next one, which will be related to forecasting, mastering forecasting in hospitality. So how to create and manage your forecast. Happy to share more soon. Not sure about the date, but I would love to see you all again in the next webinar. Thanks everyone, and have a nice evening.